Training camp's over officially, which is good. I thought it was good in the sense the guys worked really hard all camp. I mean, the pace was high every day. Put in a lot of stuff, and I felt like the guys gained good knowledge of it as we moved through camp. So, hopefully that will translate into the game tonight.
Peter, we talked a lot about the roster. Obviously, that's settled now. The lineup, those final few spots especially. I know you've talked a lot about liking what you've seen from Pitlick and Bonino, but it looks like a guy like VC, veteran guy. I'm sure that's a tough decision there as well. So if you could kind of talk about what went into that.
Sure, these are really tough decisions. Sometimes it comes down to a person playing a natural position, and Nick was, when he signed here, was that natural centerman, defensive penalty killer, face-off guy that's had found success. That decision was not an easy decision last night. I'm sure I'll have to make a bunch of decisions this year, but that one was not easy because I think that Jimmy Vesey had a good camp. I thought it got better as it went on and was effective inside the games. And so, I thought when it comes down to having to pull somebody out, those are just tough decisions. And so I talked to him this morning, and this isn't a you didn't play well enough, or you're not, as I can only dress 12 forwards tonight. And in the end, I stayed with the decision to play the natural center on the fourth line.
You've seen Phil missed a little bit of time in some preseason games, but have you seen enough in that chemistry of that line with him and Panarin and Lafreniere to feel good about it?
With who?
With Hedl.
Well, I mean, every time you see him out on the ice, he looks incredibly strong with his skating and his ability to make plays. And again, this is a starting point. It's game one, and so This is. I'm excited to see it. Just I guess like you would be, and see how it does. I thought that Laugh coming back once he was out for a minute and had a different colored jersey on in practice. I thought his last two practices were really strong. I thought the line looked good. Artemi seemed to pick up his game the last couple of practices and even in the game. And it just seems that our guys are ready to move past training camp and play some hockey. And so I'm excited to see the line too.
A number of your guys have talked about a fresh start. Yeah. Do you look at it for yourself that way too?
I do. I think anytime you come into a new job, it's a new opportunity. There's new faces, and you're working on everything from systems to relationships and trust. But I'm excited about that too, in the sense that this is a real good hockey team, and Original Six team, New York City, New York Rangers, and a great group of guys to work with, and I am excited about that.
When you came in, a couple of things you want to look at. You split up the defense pairs to get a look at, Fox with Keandre or whatever.
Yeah.
But you're back to what they have been. So can you just talk a little bit about why you decided to keep those guys all together?
Defensively, in the last two games, I thought we played really well. Like I said, there was a mistake or two that I would like to have back. But when you're holding teams to under 5 even strength scoring chances in the last two games, you're doing some good things. And so those pairs were set in the last game. I think we had given up one shot in the first and one chance through 2 periods. There was a couple of point blank chances in the third where they got behind us, but I like the pairings and what they were able to do. I also there seems to be a guy that can push the offense a little bit, and a guy that wants to think about the defensive side a little bit more. And so all defensemen are encouraged to play the same game in the offensive zone and the defensive zone, but I think there are traits that go to the individual. And so to have a guy like Lindgren with Fox, I like that pair, and I like what I saw. Keandre had played well last year, played well this year, and like I said, Gustafsson and Schneider, they were together early. They were really good. I think it was the second game in exhibition. They played a terrific game together. Schneider had an excellent camp. And a guy like Gus, I feel you can only help a guy like that, a veteran defenseman that skates well, moves the puck well, communicates well. And Jones had a terrific camp. His last game was his best game too, and so we got to have a starting point there as well.
What have you seen from Capo that suggests he might be ready to take that next step? And how difficult is it for some of these kids that play in Europe They're high draft picks. They're playing on a bigger rink to come over here and adapt.
I think he's probably past that now. You know, this is not his second year, or
Nope.
he's not coming into his first year. And his year last year was a good year, but I think with young players, you're always looking for the next step for them. Inside of camp, he's been a guy with his skating, his size, his ability to hang on to pucks and make plays. That's for me been very noticeable. And again, you got to start somewhere at the beginning of the season. It's game one. He seems to be the guy that stood out at camp to, give it a look with Zibanejad and Kreider. And so that's again that starting point. I'm not saying that that's forever, but he played well in camp and he looked good when he got those opportunities, and that's the way we're going to start.
Okay, last one, guys. Got 12, 20 bucks.
A lot of systems to put in, offense, defense, special teams, and all that. Would you say that the defense is ahead of the offense and everything else? And is that important that the defense be ahead first?
I wouldn't like to be a really sound team defensively, and I do think it got better. I don't think we gave up there's too many odd man rushes early in camp, so I thought we eliminated that. The defensive zone coverage was better and tighter. And then the offense for me, as I stated after those games, I would like to see us step on the gas more. And there's plenty of talent in the room, and I do believe we'll score goals. At the end of the day, I want to make sure we're playing good defense. If we are going to score goals, we need to defend well. And there's been a lot of emphasis with regard to that. And I think as the guys started to understand it, the further we got into camp, the more we practice it, the more it went into games, the more comfortable they got with everything on the defensive side of things. So I do think that the offense, there's offense in the room. We got to make sure defensively that we're doing